You've never really been afraid of death, have you?
No,
Ever, never, huh?
death doesn't bother me.
What do you look forward to one day when God decides to call you home?
It's going to be interesting because none of us know, but it's going to be bright, a lot of sunshine up there. There's going to be animals and people everywhere. Everybody's going to get along. It's going to be a great, great journey. My name is Harry Dow Jones. I go by Dale Jones. I was born September 7th, 1931 in Litchfield Park, Arizona. My father died before I was born, and my mother died 2 years after I was born. And my brother, whose name is Charles Lindbergh, and I were shipped to Los Angeles, and we were raised by the Masonic Home in California. We lived in several boarding home types. I'm not sure what they were. Prior to ending up at the big Masonic home with 300 children in Covina, California. I am the oldest of all family members right now, so I'm the senior elder of the Joneses.
Tell us some things that you feel that formed your life.
Formed my life, I think Ray Brown was one. I was going to college, and I was working at the Ray Brown gas station, and he told me he was going to sell the gas station, but he asked me first how many more years of college I had before I graduated, and I told him, and he said, well, I'm not going to sell the gas station then, I'll keep it until you graduate, and then when you graduate, I'll sell it. And that's exactly what he did. He kept me employed the entire period that I was going to college.
Before college, you're 17 years old. You have your friend
Jimmy
Cox, and you guys decided. What did you guys decide to do?
We decided we were going to go in the Navy.
So what happened?
But before we went here to Arizona to see my grandfather.
What was his name, your grandfather?
Harry Antle.
Okay.
And then we went to Texas to see his grandparents in Permalee, Texas. We took a bus, we came back, and we joined the service. We went to join the Navy, but the Navy wanted a letter from my mother. Of course, I couldn't give them one. And the Marine across the hallway said, you don't need any letters. So we went across the hall and we joined the Marine Corps.
And that was right around the time of the Korean War, correct?
Yeah, Korean War hadn't started yet. We were in boot camp, I think, when Korean War started. And we were told that we would be together for 4 years. They sent me to infantry, and they sent him to sea duty. He was aboard a cruiser the entire period of time, and I'd gone and landed at Incheon with the 1st Marine Division and stayed there for 2 years.
You weren't that tall of a guy, kind of a small guy going into the Marines at 17. How big were you again?
I was 5'3", 104 or 5 pounds.
Of pure muscle.
Pure muscle, yes, absolutely.
Tell us a story about getting ready to go out to fight, and what happens.
Yeah, we our Peterbilt, which are just carrying people, and the front door falls down on the beach, and you run off of that and head wherever your leader tells you to go. And I hear behind me, "Hey, Dale." And I look around, and it's my brother who's driving the boat next to me. He was in the Navy. It was kind of a surprise.
And how many, did you see him before that? What was the last time you saw him before that moment?
Oh, it'd been quite a while, a couple of years.
So you didn't see him, and all of a sudden you're in Korea, and you hear, "Hey, Dale."
Yeah.
And that you look up, you see him, and then what happens?
And I just said howdy or something and had to keep moving because we were in a fight. It really surprised me that he could pick me out of those 80 or 90 guys on this boat, all wearing the same helmet, the same rifle, the same clothes. And how he would ever know I was there, it was beyond me.
And from that moment, when did you see him next?
Well, it was 4 or 5 years after that before I saw him again.
You spent how many years in Korea?
I was 2 years there.
2 years. What do you take away from your time in the Marines in Korea? Did it help build your character at all?
Well, it did. The Marines was much like the way I was raised. At the Masonic home, you had your chores to do. You said yes, sir, no, sir. You didn't argue. And the Marine Corps was the same thing. Everything was regimented, and which was really good for me. And I like that kind of a life. I went to Mount San Antonio Junior College down in Pomona, California first, and that's a 2-year college. And
you played football there, right?
I played everything. I was track, football, swimming, and wrestling. And I needed to find some sport that would keep me in college, that I'd be good enough to stay in college. And it ended up being track. I was a javelin thrower, and I took second in the state for junior college throwers. And SC had come out and taken half a dozen of us and gave us scholarships to go to SC. We were the national champions in junior college that year. And so I was on the track team in SC. I never really did anything because everybody else was better than me. But I had an education.
And you've always had a positive attitude. Even sometimes I'd get mad at you because you were too positive. And what do you attribute that to? Because you had a pretty tough life, but you wouldn't really consider it a tough life. But what would you attribute? How did you start having? You know what? I'm just gonna enjoy what I'm doing. How did you get that?
I'm not really sure, Ronnie. Nothing ever bad happened to me. I was always in the right place at the right time, and everything and everybody was always good to me. Well, you're going to get to heaven by believing in Jesus Christ and following His advice, and by being a person of love and somebody that will help others and care for others. You can't go wrong if you do that. To my grandkids, my great-grandkids, my great-great-grandkids, ad item, I would say to them to listen to their parents, to be industrious, to be frugal, and to be hardworking, and your life will be just fine.
And do you remember what you said to us yesterday? It's going to be,
It's going to be okay.
and even if it's not going to be okay,
Yeah, even if I'm not going to be okay, it's going to be okay. Yeah. Because there's a good possibility that I could die in a short period of time. I'd be gone. But I'm 82, going to be 83. I've lived a good life, a happy life, and we all have to go. We're all going to go.
All things, oh love endures all